you were in jail at a very difficult time because you went there through Ramadan, right?
Yep.
And you were fasting, and they were, just a terrible time to be,
My first
obviously
Ramadan.
your first Ramadan too. You converted to Islam a few months prior. Shout out to Tam Khan, by the way. He was a gracious host out there in Dubai. Shout out to him. Can you take us through what led you to converting to Islam, and how was that first month, your first Ramadan in prison?
You talk about fraternity and brotherhood like I just described, and there's no bigger fraternity or brotherhood than Islam. That's the bottom line of it. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter where you're from. You're all brothers in Islam, and it truly is a beautiful feeling. And I think I came on your show and spoke of my respect for Islam before I reverted. I'd have respected it for a very long time. And I think if you're truly a religious person and you do believe in God, you're going to see the attractions of Islam. I've had conversations with very devout, very strict Christians, and when I talk to them, they debate Christianity versus Islam against me, and it's quite a friendly debate. But when I say, aren't you jealous of the fact that we stick up for what we believe in and you Christians allow yourself to be mocked endlessly? I see in their eyes, they're infuriated. Everyone is jealous of the fact that Islam means what it says and says what it means unapologetically, because that's a masculine trait. It's a warrior's religion. And if you're a warrior and you want to say what you mean and mean what you say, you're going to feel massive respect for Islam. And I respected it for a long time. And I guess if you respect something long enough, you end up believing in it. And the conversion comes afterwards. And my Ramadan was in jail. I don't know if this is completely true, and I don't want to talk like an Islamic scholar because I'm not, but if you're at war or if you're in a particularly difficult scenario, you don't have to fast, but I decided to fast anyway and to respect it. And I got my meals, and I was given my 3 meals a day, and I would pick out the bits of food that was edible, and I would cover it up with a little piece of plastic, and I would sit there all day long with the plastic over my paper plate and flick the roaches and flies and make sure nothing touched it until it came time to eat. I didn't eat before sunrise because I didn't have food before sunrise. I could only eat once a day when the sun went down. And it was quite a beautiful feeling. I read as much of the Quran as I could. I don't know if I finished the entire thing in that month, but I finished the entire thing in jail. And between reading the Quran and protecting my food, I felt very fulfilled during that month. It was probably one of the easiest months in jail, Ramadan. I felt fulfilled. I knew what I had to do. I had to pray. I had to read the Quran. I had to protect my food. I had to make sure there wasn't insects in it by the time it came to eat. I eventually got to eat it with my brother, and we sat there and we ate it. And it was quite a fulfilling time. I was very sad when it ended. I was genuinely sad when Ramadan ended, and I was still in that jail cell.
Did Islam help you stay strong in jail?
I would open the Quran on random pages. Every day I would just open it, and I'd find a quote which I found applicable to the situation I was in. So I would leave it up to chance, but I guess God was trying to give me particular messages. And every single time I opened that book, there was a passage or a message on the page I randomly selected that made me feel better every single time. And the best one, and my favorite one, is my favorite in the whole Quran so far, is just because you say you believe does not mean Allah will not test you. You're a believer does not mean your life gets easy. Absolutely not. Just because you say you believe does not mean you will not be tested. And I saw it as a test. I actually saw the fact that I went to jail quite quickly after my reversion. Almost
I was going to ask you about that.
As a test. Do I really believe? And that's why I decided to respect Ramadan. Am I going to just throw it all out the window because my life's gotten hard? Or am I going to stick to what I said I believe in and show that I believe truly? And God was watching, and God was paying attention, as was I. And I feel very fortunate to have spent Ramadan in jail.
Do you know the story of Job in the Bible?
I do, but you can tell it for the context.
Similar scenario.
God took everything from him?
He had everything you could think of. Family, cattle, house, land, carts. They had carts back then. And God made a deal with Satan. He said, listen, if you can tempt my servant, he turns away from me, you can have him. But I guarantee you he won't turn from me. You take everything away. So Satan came down to earth, took away his family. They all died. Cattle, all gone. Land, house, gone. He had sores. He was stricken to the ground, couldn't walk, could barely talk, was in terrible shape. But he never forsake God the whole time. And lo and behold, God said, see my servant? Never turned away from me. Bless him 10 times over. So the struggle that we go through every day in life is tough. But if you stand firm in what you believe, like what Andrew did, you're rewarded 10 times over.
Yeah, and I mean, we can talk about it religiously, but it's also, because it's fresh and fit, let's apply it to a relationship scenario.
Yeah.
A girl loves you, of course, She loves you when she's going to the restaurants and you're not in jail and you're taking care of her and her rent is paid and you're buying her handbags and you're entertaining her and you're spending time with her and everything's fun and great. Of course she loves you. But does she really love you?
When it ends.
You find out if she really loves you, just like you find out if Job really believed when the hard times come. And then you're going to see who really loves you and who doesn't. That's when you're going to learn a lot about people. And you can apply that to nearly all scenarios on earth. And I see that all the time. I see... I don't use TikTok at all, but occasionally I'm unfortunate enough on Twitter, you catch these couple goal TikToks.
Strays.
Yeah.
And it's kind of embarrassing for, well, not kind of, I apologize. It's not often I'm wrong, but I was wrong there and I want to make an apology to the world. It's very embarrassing. It's not kind of, it's very embarrassing for the man, these couple goal TikToks. It's pathetic. And the reason it's so pathetic, because
You know it was her idea, too.
of course it's her idea and she's publicly, it's so gay and she's publicly cucking him and she's making him act a particular way and she's showing the world that she has her man bitch whipped and the whole thing's embarrassing. But I sit there and it's like, oh, a couple goals and they're in the Maldives and they're hugging and they're holding hands and they're running and they're smiling. And I sit and look at this shit and I say, if he went to jail, she'd be fucking someone else in 4.3 days. A couple goals, it's bollocks. There is no couple and there is no love in the good times. I mean, okay, girls love you when things are good. Of course they do, but it doesn't mean anything. You think not maybe. I've been around the block. I'm not stupid. When I'm on my private jet and the 10 out of 10 beauty queen goes, I love you. Duh. We're on a private jet on our way to the Swiss Alps.
Yep.
Of course you love me. Why? She doesn't even realize that she's saying it because of that. She's saying it because she feels it. But I'm man enough to understand that is bullshit. Okay, you love me now, but we're going to see. And that's the way it is with faith and relationships and friendships and everything else in the world. You learn a lot about the truth that you're at the bottom. And if you're ever at the bottom, or if you're watching this and you're at the bottom right now, just pay attention.
Can I add to what you're saying? This is very important. So I think for guys, when it's going good and she tells you like she loves you and she's there for you, it's great. But I guarantee you, or I say, you know what, guys out there, text your girl. You know what? Say no. Tell her to do something important for you and see what she does after that. Because my thing is, if she can follow your lead when you say no to her, she's there for you. But if you say no to her, she's like, oh no, I don't know, I'm sick, my belly hurts, whatever. Does she really love you? That's what I think.
Always add right now to whatever she tells you.
Yeah, right now.
That will help you.
There you go.
Always add right now, guys, and that will really...
That's a gem.
I love you right now.
Yeah.
I miss you right now.
And we've seen it. Yeah. Girls say I love you, and then they say 10 years later, oh, he raped me.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
Well, I would argue that the woman who's accused Vince McMahon told him she loves him.
100%. Bro,
Guaranteed.
See?
Got her brand new fucking BMW, $20,000 on surgery. Come on, man. Vince McMahon's a smart businessman.
The money stopped. This is why you don't pay in the first place.
Yeah.
You never pay.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's why you don't pay, man.
That's why you can't do that shit.
Holy.
Speaking of, paying and sponsorships, etc., guys.